It's time for Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Now let's have some fun. Here is your host, Johnny Radio.
Yo. Welcome into a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. It is a thirsty Thursday. I hope everybody's feeling as blessed as I do. Nothing like thirst traps, Tito's, retirements, and Tiger wins in overtime. Oh, that was a tough one last night. We're blessed today, by the way. We're blessed every day. You know, yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery, today's is a gift. That's why they call it the present. I wonder if he's even hearing that. He knows where that came from, Malvin Massey. But it is a gift because we did get a Tiger win that was gifted to us. Unbelievable trap. And the other gift is it looks like I planned this out. But no, we got Isaac Simpson.
Did you say Simpson. Malvin Massey? Did I hear that right?
Yeah, yesterday's. You weren't listening to the show. Don't worry about it.
I didn't have I was trying to get my headphones.
No, you're good. Don't even worry about it. No, don't even worry about it.
Malvin, what a great guy.
Unbelievable human being. No, I said one of his sayings. As we got a gift last night with the Tigers because of the trap. You know, the one, yesterday's history, tomorrow's a mystery.
Oh, yeah.
Today is a gift. That's why they call it the present.
That's right.
Heck, I might not have said it right the first time. I think I said it right that time.
I could hear you kind of. I think you said it right.
Who knows? But anyway, we got a very big gift because we have Isaac Simpson. I didn't plan it, but it's just how it rolls on a thirsty Thursday. We always talk with him. We're going to talk a lot of Tigers. We're going to talk about that basketball game last night, and we're going to do that at 11:30. 12 o'clock, we got the Rebel Walks, founder and publisher. Also, wife to David Walker, former Texas A&M quarterback, and he also works at the Rebel Walk. Very, very informed football people. We're going to talk to her about Ole Miss. We're going to talk to her about the whole Nick Saban situation. What coaches does she think is going to replace him? And we're going to go down the whole rabbit hole. Yesterday was wild. Today's still wild. We'll talk about Bill Belichick and Nick Saban, and I don't understand this. All of a sudden, Pete Carroll, who was yesterday, I feel so bad for him. Like, Pete Carroll just got one-upped, not once, but twice in 24 hours.
That's right. John, we actually have breaking news. Dan Lanning has announced he's going to stay at Oregon.
Really?
Yes, that's coming out from On3, and also Chris Vanini from The Athletic is reporting it.
Oh, it must going to be Sark then.
That's incredible.
So you think it's going to be Sark?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know, man?
I mean, I thought it was going to be Lanning.
I did too. I thought it 100%. In fact, in one of my texts here, I don't want to get too far behind the curtains, but I'm sitting here guaranteeing you, I'm telling you, you watch, it's going to be Dan Lanning next 72 hours. It's coming down the pipe, boys and girls. But anyway, Dan Lanning says he's staying at Oregon. Damn, that's big news.
Yeah, he posted a video on Twitter.
Whoa, what is that?
It's me watching Dan Lanning's video on Twitter.
Oh, man. I was looking at my stuff, and
I'm guessing he announces to his team he's staying. Because he was supposed to have I think, so last night it was reported on a Eugene, Oregon news channel that Dan Lanning was in Tuscaloosa. And then there were reports coming out that he was supposed to have a meeting with his team today, but that he had pushed it back like 2 hours. And then that people, you know how people do because people don't have lives. They started tracking like planes and stuff like that. And they was like, well, see, if this plane that's coming from Tuscaloosa or from somewhere in Alabama is landing in Oregon at this time, so that would make sense why he would push and so everyone was saying that was when he was going to tell his team he was taking the job at Alabama. It looks like he told the team, psych, I'm staying.
Nice.
That?
Dylan Gabriel and the boys and the Ducks are going to be excited to hear that. Dan Lanning, damn, that was my guess. Well, now I guess we move to Sark. It'd be crazy, Texas, the year that they go to the SEC, they lose their head coach right before they
that would be wild.
Dive up into that giant.
To another SEC team.
To Alabama. That would be wild. But, man, there's going to be a lot of wild stuff going on again. We got to talk about Nick Saban. We got to talk about Bill Belichick. And, again, we are going to talk about all kinds of things from, those out there who are singing their praises. And believe it or not, some people out there, they do have detractors. They also have fan bases all in a tizzy. And what I'm talking about is just the SEC, every fan base outside of Alabama, possibly Ole Miss, and maybe Texas, who's coming, was celebrating like a madman. Because now they all believe that they can get to the top of the mountain. Maybe Georgia didn't have to celebrate, but they should, because how many times have they beat Georgia? Luckily in the Natty. Because Nick Saban owned a little Kirby Smart keister, if you know what I'm saying. He busted that. But, every fan base, like yesterday, you should have seen my phone. Like right when the news was coming out, I was listening to you and Brett, by the way, when it was breaking. And by the way, Brett was tripping me out yesterday. I couldn't stop laughing. He was going in, wasn't he?
He sure was. No, I mean, Brett and
it's 297, boy.
Sure was. And you texted him 297. That's why you have friends like you, John. But yeah, no, Brett. Credit to him. He saw this coming, and he texted me a couple times throughout the season talking about it. And then when it happened yesterday, I mean, I said it yesterday. I thought I was prepared for it, but it blew me away.
It's a wild. And again, like I said, my phone yesterday from like some Tennessee fans that I'm friends with. Hallelujah. LFG, exclamation point. Then I got a lot of stuff I can't say. Then you got my buddy who tweets out, Bama need a head coach, and they put a picture of Butch Jones in Alabama.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Red. Yeah. And then there's all these I got so much orange yesterday from Vols fans who are just celebrating, like, let's go, baby, Nick's gone.
Good for them.
They're excited. I got Ole Miss fans first yesterday. I got a bunch of texts from my Ole Miss friends. Dude, it's tell me we're not losing Lane. We're not losing Lane, right?
Huh.
The train is staying in Oxford, right? So yesterday there's an entire mix of emotions out there. People who love them, people who can't stand them because they lost to him, and the same with Bill Belichick. I mean, you got to think about what Bill Belichick did in his 24 years in New England. They are impressive. Now, the last ones without Tom Brady, absolutely abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. But this is a dude who won 17 division titles in the AFC East. He owned that damn junt. You know what I mean? Like, if you're the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, or the New York Jets, you got to be like, I know he ain't been great late, but I don't want it to come back. I don't want him to come back and take everything away from us. And again, one other little sidebar, and we're going to talk about him as well, is you have to feel for Pete Carroll, because as I am at home, when my show's over, right after that happens is when Pete Carroll's let go. So I'm, listening to like the NFL Network talk all their business and listening to reading a bunch of BS. And Pete Carroll, won a college natty, won a Super Bowl, played in another. I mean, those are like, Pete Carroll is the creme de la creme. Bomb. He ran LA when he was at USC. He turned Seattle into a loser, into a damn Super Bowl champ. Pete Carroll, hell of a coach. And he just, again, got one up not once but twice, because Nick Saban decides, well, Pete Carroll's gone. Let me jump up in this bad boy. I ain't going to let him take all my glory. It's my day. It's my day. And then Bill's like, all right, well, I'm going to take tomorrow.
That's right.
Nick. I'm going to take tomorrow. And you got to also think about all just the whole crazy situation about these coaches leaving. I can talk about all their accolades, and everybody out there has pretty much talked about all their accolades. These coaches were absolutely ridiculous. But I want to bring in that but. Bill Belichick, I mean, he's unbelievable. And the one thing that you can basically, I think the biggest reasons that you can believe Belichick is the GOAT is basically the unabashed praise that comes out from his players on other teams, players across the entire league, current and former. Like, if they played with them or they didn't play with them, it didn't matter. Every dude who's talked about him had mad respect. And that is again something like that the 6 Super Bowl titles is pretty damn good, by the way. But also the fact that it feels like every single person that every single professional athlete inside and out the NFL has nothing but the highest regard of this man. And it seems like he's an a-hole in his press conferences, but you hear how how different he is behind the scenes and actually with his team and the people he interacts with. And he's one hell of a coach. And he's also, I heard this from Mike Greenberg today, and I thought this was great. The one thing also about Belichick retiring is whether you're celebrating him or you're, celebrating the fact that he, his career, he's retired, you're a Patriots fan, you love him, or if you're, again, an AFC foe and you're like, man, respect, but damn, I'm just glad this man's not coaching in this division anymore so we can own it. The thing I was also going to, like what Mike Greenberg said, though, what made me think was interesting is he is a bridge to an era that now, that bridge is gone. And what I mean back is you got to remember, go all the way back. This dude coached with Bill Parcells. He coached Lawrence Taylor. This is generations. These are complete different eras of football. And he basically brought the old to the new as far as you can go back. And now, you kind of lose a little bit of that. I thought that was something, that's an angle I never thought to look at. And I thought that was very interesting, and it's 100% true. Again, though, you're going to have a lot of detractors out there. A lot of people have lost a lot of games and fans to Bill Belichick and probably don't like him. And people will also say that, without TB12 taking a snap under him as head coach, he doesn't have a single Super Bowl. But Tom has one without him. But I think the one thing that you could basically say, the worst that Bill Belichick, he was the best at roster management. And what I mean is financial. He's the guy who came to the conclusion in the salary cap era, it's better to cut a player a year early than sign him a year too long. So he would, he would move off talent, and that's how they, ran the cap. But he's been absolutely terrible with first-round picks, especially on offense. I want you to think about these numbers. The Patriots have only had one first-round selection since 2012 go to the Pro Bowl. And do you know who that was?
I don't.
That was Mac Jones. They've also only had one offensive Pro Bowl from any round since 2005. Of course, not named Tom Brady. That other person, Mac Jones, both times.
Wow.
And by the way, Tom Brady was never a first-round pick, so that second one, first-round pick since 2005. A first-round pick since 2005. The only player to make it to a Pro Bowl was Mac Jones in his rookie season. And they're about to send him out the door, by the way. You know that, right? Mm-hmm. Like, he's done. Bailey Zappi finished out playing quarterback in New England because they so done with Mac Jones. It's also funny, Mac Jones also played under Nick Saban. Nick Saban was Bill Belichick's defensive coordinator in Cleveland. A lot of, parallels. They're good buddies. But Belichick, again, roster management was revolutionary. His drafting in the first few rounds is, basically, especially for offense, were absolutely terrible. And then Nick bleeping Saban, think about it. His name is Nick bleeping Saban. That's just in a sense, isn't that the GOAT? Bro, I wish people were like, man, that's John Harden over there. That's John bleeping Harden. You know what I mean? That just takes on a different, bro, that's Nick bleeping Saban. And that's what everybody, basically in the South calls him. It's absolutely, it's kind of fascinating. It's interesting to see what everybody's saying about both of them. And I don't know, man. We're going to find out now who Alabama, probably in the next 72 hours, who in at least the next week, I would say, they want to move pretty quickly, who they poach. And then the next domino will fall is what coach. I mean, if they bring in, like you say, Sark, now Texas is looking to poach. And those dominoes start to fall. DeMeco Ryans played at Alabama. He's got the Texans in the playoffs. Out of the box thought. There's plenty of coaches out there, but who replaces Nick Saban at Alabama is going to be fascinating. I mean, it's going to be interesting, and I'm just kind of curious. As much as people were talking about Nick Saban and Bill Belichick, it's not as much as Bill Belichick, like Gerard Mayo, Mike Vrabel, these are some people that you can, see following Bill in his footsteps, but also because Bill's been so bad and the Patriots have been so bad the last few years, it's not as big of a deal. But replacing Nick Saban at Alabama, I mean, with how many minutes in the third quarter was it? Like 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. I mean, Alabama had the lead over Michigan.
That's right.
And they just fell apart down the stretch. Completely fell apart. They were this close. And by the way, this is a good job by Nick Saban this year. This is a team that at the beginning of the year was terrible. They didn't have a quarterback. They couldn't figure Tommy Rees and Jalen Milroe, and that offense couldn't get on the right page. And then they found themselves winning the SEC championship, knocking Georgia out of the opportunity to play for a natty, and then taking Michigan, right there to the end. I mean, they had a hell of a season. He did a hell of a job this year. So replacing him, it feels so much heavier. And it's also because of the 6 national championships that he got at Bama. Don't forget the one he got at LSU. It feels bigger for Nick than it does for Belichick to me. I'm not saying one coach is better than the other. I mean, I'm just saying, I guess maybe is it because we're in the South?
Maybe.
I'm wondering what y'all think. 901-360-8255, 901-360-8255. Out of the GOATs that just bounced, Bill Belichick, Nick Saban, they're both immortalized. They're both going to, people will talk about them as the GOATs. I guess which one's legacy would you rather have? Which one's more meaningful to you and why? For some reason, I feel like Nick Saban, what he did, and I know that he didn't make it in the Dolphins in the National Football League. But if we're going to talk about, he could coach in college and the pros, so he's the better coach, well, then we would talk about Jimmy Johnson. We would talk about Pete Carroll. People who, hell, we'd have to throw in Barry Switzer, who won national championships as a college coach and the Super Bowl. But I'm not, kind of saying like who's the best coach. Who is more like who casts the bigger shadow? Like who casts following in their footsteps, I guess is also that's why it feels Nick Saban to me, because who replaces Bill Belichick doesn't feel as big as who replaces Nick Saban. Like nobody thought anybody could replace the Bear, and he didn't replace the Bear, but nobody ever thought that the Bear was going to be basically second fiddle to anyone, and Nick Saban came in there and cast a bigger shadow than the Bear. And replacing him, I feel like, is a much more difficult job, not just because of, college football being, the NIL and the transfer portal situation, not just because of that, just because of the shadow that, is Nick Saban. And by the way, Nick Saban retired. I just also want to say something. I want to remind all you people, if Bill Belichick, which he was basically fired, he made it clear that he wanted to come back to the organization in some type of role, like a diminished capacity, you would say. He wasn't going to be the coach. He wasn't going to be in charge. He was going to be an advisor or something, like make up some role, not a Bruce Arians role where he's pushing paper clips and just being, doesn't have anything, sitting in his office drinking, I don't know, Tito's.
That's right.
He wanted to still stay. And again, he was there 24 years. But the Patriots said no. So if Bill Belichick can get fired, I would like to remind all of you, anybody can get fired. Bro, it made me, you know what it made me? When I thought about that, I said to myself, damn, Bill can get fired. I could get fired really easily.
That's a good point.
Kind of like my job.
Yeah.
I know y'all don't think I work. I work all the time. I was watching that Tiger game last night, working. That's me. That's my job, man. But it's a fun one. But damn, if Bill Belichick can get fired, anybody can. Now, we do have to switch gears. See ya, Coach Saban. Oh, and I agree with everything that you and David Cohn said yesterday and Brett Norsworthy. Maybe Nick Saban can come in there and maybe save college football and the NCAA. Like, could take a role, hell, make him the president of that joint and kind of somehow figure out how name, image, and likeness can be a little bit more fair. And I guess to where it doesn't become just a 40-team league. You know what I'm saying? Like, I still want college football to be across the country. And, yes, I know it's going to touch every corner. But you don't want it to be like, 40 teams or, the only people, like you only pay attention to them, because that would say that would be terrible for Memphis. It's one selfish reason that I don't, I want it to be, I guess the rules need to be fixed and tweaked.
I'm with you on that.
And that would also, I think, benefit the student athlete and fans, universities, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Wouldn't be so many shady characters somehow in there. But we got to switch gears again. Tigers, we got to talk about. That was something. Again, huge, like the trap. Without the trap, it's a trap. They were down 4. They score. They trap. They get the ball back. Whap. Jourdain puts it in. They all tied up. They just had to survive a simple shot that was missed, but they had to survive it. Go into overtime. The Tigers won that bad boy. Started off good with Javon Quinterly hitting the 3 and getting fouled, a little 4-point play. They took care of business in overtime, and winning that game was important. I know a lot of fans were furious on the X. But, bro, Central Florida knocked off Kentucky last night. Mississippi State. Kansas. Who did I say?
Kentucky.
Sorry, Kansas. I knew that.
I know you did.
I'm just, again, my brain's still not completely
There'd be
working.
no way UCF and Kentucky would be playing right now.
Yeah.
So I know you knew Kansas.
I knew that.
Just for anybody who...
It was 65-60.
Yeah, I just didn't want someone calling in and goes...
That was the final score. You're right.
They didn't beat Kentucky. They beat Kansas.
Thank you. I misspeak again. My brain is not completely healed after the flu or something. Mississippi State dropped Tennessee. Got that one right. 77-72. That's a 2 seed, a 5 seed. We also had yesterday the one in the 2 seed. Houston fell. Purdue fell. What did I say?
You're saying seeds. It's rankings.
Rankings, whatever. Man, I'm going to just listen. Thank you for putting up with me while I could get fired.
I'm just trying to help you, John.
No, I just talked about it. If Bill Belichick can get fired, I can get fired. And lately, my brain hadn't been working all week. I'm going to try to get through this. But we are going to talk a lot about the Tigers. They did get the win. And we're going to talk about that with Isaac Simpson. So don't touch the dial. We'll be right back. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
It's a new year, and Family Leisure has a new way to bring family and fun together. All you have to do is walk into Family Leisure and look around. All those floor model patio sets you see, those have got to go, so Family Leisure can make room for all the new sets coming. Get a wicker sofa set for under $2,000. Pool tables under $1,500. Theater seating for under $2,000. Hot tubs for $4,000 or just for yourself. If you really want to lounge, they're under $5,000. Need patio cushions? Get them as low as $25. Oh, have you seen those infrared steam saunas? Well, now they and the traditional saunas are 25% off. It may just be the first few weeks of 2024, but that doesn't mean you can't start getting ready for summer. 2 final things. Purchase your above-ground pool now and get first in line for installation, and take advantage of special financing that's available. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, bringing the family and the fun back together.
The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination, has 27 delicious flavors to choose from and counting. Like the Buffalo Ranch, a perfect combo of ranch seasoning with a little kick. Mango Habanero, sweet taste of mango followed by the heat. Or Sweet Maple Bourbon, the taste will remind you of chicken and waffles. And that's just 3 of the amazing 27 chicken wing seasonings that you can get at the Crazy Coop in Bartlett at 7199 Stage Road, and now open the Crazy Coop Express at 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Some like it hot. How about the Crazy Sweet Lemon Pepper Hot or Crazy Suicide? Can't take the heat? Get the 4-cheese roasted garlic or barbecue bacon bourbon. Ask about the $9.99 lunch special. Now those are some crazy good prices. The Crazy Coop. 2 locations, 7199 Highway 64 between Applin and Kirby Whitten and 1315 Ridgeway off Poplar. Family owned and operated, The Crazy Coop, America's premier wing destination.
Get the home field advantage every time with Fairfield by Marriott, the official hotel of the NCAA. Whether you're a student athlete working towards your championship dreams or your team's biggest fan, Fairfield by Marriott has everything you need to get ready for game day, from comfortable guest rooms to a complimentary hot breakfast. Visit fairfield.marriott.com to book your next game day stay. Fairfield by Marriott, part of the Marriott Bonvoy portfolio of hotels, an official hotel of the NCAA.
Join the Sports Time crew of Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus this Thursday from 3 to 6 at Sissy's Log Cabin on Poplar across from the Oak Court Mall. Sissy's is celebrating their official grand opening of its newest store on Thursday, January 11th. Grand opening events begin at 9:45 a.m. and an official ribbon cutting takes place at 10 a.m. The Sports Time crew will be there from 3 to 6, so stop by this one-of-a-kind jewelry store. That's this Thursday from 3 to 6 at Sissy's Log Cabin.
The only power source capable of generating 1.21 gigawatts of electricity is a bolt of lightning.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio, hanging out with Bryant Dacus all day long here on a Thirsty Thursday, but it's 11:30, and you know what we do. We talk with Isaac Simpson from the TigerSportsReport.com, and don't forget, eat those Grizzlies. We're going to talk a little Tigers. We're going to talk a little Grizz. But first, I want to ask Dacus real quick. So you're going to be out at Sissy's today?
That's right. From 3 to 6, it's their grand opening. They had some ceremonies this morning, so we'll be out there. Come out. We'll be giving away prizes. I was just told we got shirts. If you want a Sports 56 shirt, stop by. You get one.
Man, it's the one right there in front of East Sporta at Poplar and Perkins.
That's right, yes. So come out. It's a beautiful building. We were out there for their soft opening about a month ago. A beautiful building. Come out there. They've got, just some very exquisite jewelry.
Sissy's Log Cabin.
That's
Life's too ordinary. Nope. What is it? Life's too
short for ordinary jewelry.
Damn it! I knew ordinary was in there, brother. I like the one I wrote. Sissy's Log Cabin coming into your world.
I like it.
I just stole that junk. But what up, Isaac?
Man, what up, John? I'm doing all right. How are you?
Man, I'm blessed. I'm alive, and the Tigers got a win. It was ugly. It was bleeping ugly, 107-101 in overtime. There were some positives you could talk about again. When we get into this, first and foremost, they got the win. We've seen 4 of the top 5 teams in the country go down in the last 48 hours. So, winning is the most important thing. If you listen to Javon Quinterly after the game, he said, anybody can win in this league on any given night. Getting the dub is the most important. We'll get back in the lab and fix things up, but, getting the win is what they did, and they needed all 25 points from Quinterly. David Jones, who had 26. Jordan, I thought was phenomenal, but, dude, he keeps airballing dead gum free throw. The last 2 games in a row, he's airballed a free throw. Is such a good player. He was part of the trap and score. Big games out of them, but, man, defense was absolutely abysmal and terrible. What do you think about the game, Isaac?
I'm a little bit confused. Like I agree with the sentiment. Like you said, it's definitely no debate that it's better to get the win. It beats the alternative. It's better than losing basketball games. But it's weird among the fan base. It seems to be this sentiment that everything is fine as long as they win. Like they're not concerned at all about.
No, that's us. I think that's fans mostly trying to put that positive spin, look around. But if from the most of the things that I saw, at least last night on Twitter, like, good Lord, man, people were going in. I just typed in Penny Hardaway when it was.
Yeah, I must have a different feed because mine was like completely the opposite. Like people are
really
being apologists, about what's going on, and people were like, oh, well, at least Tennessee lost, and you look at Tennessee, losing at Mississippi State is not the same as going to overtime with the 285th team in the net. I mean, you're the 13th ranked team in the country, and the last 5 games, they've just not showed up against vastly inferior competition. Now, that doesn't mean that that's going to continue. Maybe they come out Sunday and they look awesome and they go back to the team they were in non-con and look great down the line. But they're playing with fire. If they continue to play the way that they played the last 5 games, especially when they go on the road, I mean, you definitely didn't expect that at home, but definitely on the road, these teams are going to be packed crowds. They're going to be ready to play them. They're going to end up dropping one of these games. And the difference when people compare teams like Tennessee or these other top teams that are ranked when they lose a game,
they have good
it's
games
different.
Following.
It's different because they have the opportunity in conference to make up for those losses. If Memphis loses one of these games, it's devastating. They can't afford to lose to these sub-200 teams because they don't have any way to make up for it. And people are saying, oh, well, I don't care about the net or anything like that. And that's fine that you say you don't care about it. But when you're a 20-point favorite and you playing these bad teams and you don't cover that spread, you continue to drop in the net. And when you continue to drop in the net, when you're in Memphis' position, that matters. Whether you want to admit that it matters or not, it's going to matter on Selection Sunday. So you need to come out when you play these teams. People say a win is a win, and technically that's correct. But in Memphis' condition, it's a situation being in the conference they're in and don't have a lot of opportunity to kind of raise that net now the non-con is over. It matters. Style points matter in this situation. And I just think even beyond that, I think people should be just concerned about how they're playing. I mean, they're just not playing well right now. And, again, if that continues, the just win, baby, is going to run out. The clock is going to strike midnight. If they go up there and play Sunday up to Wichita, the way that they played these last 5 games,
they're going down.
I got a feeling they're going to come out there with an L.
Yeah, they got to fix something. And, again, of course, Penny last night was saying, sometimes the guys just got to go out there and play. They know everything. We practice everything in practice. We do all the, this, that, and the other. Sometimes the guys just got to go out there and, be men and play basketball. And there is a difference. Like if you were in that house and you watched the intensity against Clemson, the intensity against Virginia, there was completely different. They look like they just rolled out of a brothel, man, in that first 5 minutes of the game. And hell, at the end of the game, they still a couple of them looking like they were, still weak in the knees. The intensity is totally different. I'm curious though. Crowds are also totally different in those games. Do you think a lot of people say, well, if people would show up, these kids, if these crowds affect them? I'm kind of curious where you stand on that because, again, on my weird feed, these are some of the arguments and things that people are complaining about. In the defense, a lot of people were blaming the fact that the crowd doesn't show up and it affects the kids.
Yeah, I don't think that's the case. Last night, I can agree with the crowd wasn't there. But for Vanderbilt, SMU, there was a really good crowd there, and they were involved. They just, for a lot of times, wasn't giving them anything to cheer about. That crowd really came alive at that SMU game when they kind of made that run in the second half. It was loud in there. There's no question about that. So I don't think you can really blame it on that. I just think, and a lot of people kind of said, oh, this coincided with Naquan Tomlin coming to the team. And I think that's just a coincidence. I think this started when the competition dropped off. When they were intense, they won those 3 games in a row against those ranked teams.
Texas
and then once Vanderbilt happened,
and Virginia,
they seem to have lost focus. And I think that's what it is. And Penny has talked about it, and as you said, he said at halftime that he told these guys that these teams are going to be coming for him, man. They got to be ready, and there's only so much he can do as far as trying to get these guys up for these games. Like, I get, like, you're not looking across and seeing a ranked team or a named team. You're playing UTSA on a Wednesday night, and you're thinking, oh, man, we can just show up and beat these teams. They got to understand, man, that they got to have a mentality that these teams are going to be gunning for us. We're the marked team now in this conference, and these teams are playing loose. They have nothing to lose, and they're going to be coming for us. And I didn't really expect to see this at home, and we've kind of see it at home in 2 different games with SMU and UTSA. I thought it'd be more so on the road, but now last night, I mean, because that UTSA team is not good at all. I'm saying that's one of the worst teams in the country, man, and have to go to overtime, give up 101 points to that team. It's just almost unbelievable. I hope that's the wake-up call, because you look down this schedule, and I think there are several landmines coming up. I think I put out 5 games that kind of really concerned me on the road left on the schedule. At Wichita State's one of them. They got to go to Tulane, which has kind of been a house of horrors for the Tigers as of late. They still got to go to SMU. North Texas is a solid team. They got those games coming up in February. Still got to go to FAU. So those games aren't going to be easy. You look at the UAB game. I'll actually be down there covering that one. I'm actually going to Dallas for the North Texas SMU back-to-back as well. Those crowds, I mean, they've already said the lower bowl is sold out for the UAB game coming up in a couple of weeks. They call it the Bartow Classic. So those teams are going to be ready, man. They gotta play better, man. If not, they're going to end up taking one of these losses. And if they lose one of these games, people are going to see how much that net and how much that stuff matters if they drop one of these games. So they're going to drop like a rock if they lose any of these things.
That's a very good point. You know, as confusing as the net is, it's a metric.
Like, it definitely doesn't make any sense because you got SMU ahead of Memphis right now, which makes no sense. Like, they get head-to-head victory over them, and they haven't even played the type of schedule, don't have the wins that Memphis has, but somehow they're ahead of them. It doesn't make any sense at all.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of Americans don't understand the metric system, which, it's cool. We don't usually do it, but that's
a lot of nerd math goes into that, man. That's above my pay grade. I don't get into all that computer stuff that they're dealing with. How they come up with that?
That's what I was going to say. I have
no idea.
I don't get it. I'll never understand it. I mean, it's it's way too tough for me to figure out. But you're right. If they don't fix things quickly, they're going to be screwed. But you talked about your feed. I was just going to read something. Like you were talking about. Basically, people defending it. My feed, I guess we do have different ones. This gentleman.
Yeah, because I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, I get it, but you're not concerned about the way this team's playing at all right now. Like, you're the 13th ranked team in the country, and you're struggling in UTSA. I think it's time to have a conversation about this. Something needs to change. I don't think there's any question about it.
Like at Will Go Tigers Go 901 or at GTG 901.
Yeah, shout out to Will.
Will, shout out. He was going in last night. Memphis down at half 7 to 7-8 UTSA, one of the worst teams in the country. Absolutely embarrassment. He's like, terrible defense, terrible offense, stupid ass lineups. We're losing, Penny, not up by 20. I think a blowout loss is what this team needs, and it's coming real soon at this rate. There was, again, a bunch of other people who chimed in, and they were going absolutely ham. Basically, what another person put in, Memphis deserved to lose this game 100%. Some people were talking about how the refs, the fact the Tigers shot 43 free throws, UTSA shot only 21. I mean, there was just all kinds. My feed was just getting buck last night.
Yeah, I saw some of the. There was a few people on there but for the majority of the people in my feed, they're just kind of like, it doesn't really matter. Don't talk about it until they lose.
I got to ask you. I'm sorry. I got to interrupt something. Like, Jay Morgan was trying to explain this to me. How come everybody's feed's different?
I don't know. It's weird, man. I guess I get all the loonies, man, because I have some crazy stuff going on in my Twitter feed. I always have, man. But like I said, man, it's fine. Of course, it's better to win, but it's like you're driving over a bridge with cracks in it. You see the cracks, and you're saying, I'm not going to worry about it until I drive over to the bridge falls. Like, that's kind of what that is when you're saying it doesn't matter just as long as they win. But it foreshadows danger because they're going to play teams that are much better than UTSA. None of these teams are great in this conference, but they're going to play teams that are better. On Sunday, they're going on the road to a team that's much better than UTSA, and if they play like that, they're going to lose, man. It is what it is. They're not going to be able to play like this and do what they need to do in conference. Like, they're going to take multiple losses if they don't get better than this. And that's not, like I said, they could completely turn it around on Sunday and go up there and look like the team that we saw at non-con, and from then on sweep the rest of the season because they have that talent level. Mm-hmm. And that's what's frustrating about it because they should be blowing these teams out. If you saw what this team did at non-con, they don't have any business struggling with this level of team. It's just kind of weird to see. And I think it's basically mostly rooted in focus and want to right now.
And the other thing, I want to talk about actually some stuff that's going on in the court and what I believe, just throwing this out there. I scream at my television a lot. I scream all the time. And one thing I scream about when I watch the Tigers is I don't understand why we defend 50 feet. Like, we'll defend, and there's 10 seconds on the shot clock. We'll go out 50 feet from the damn basket. They'll either blow by us, drop, get a layup, or they'll kick it out to a wide-open three-pointer. By the way, that's why they hit 17 threes last night. And or they'll set a pick, the other team, and then Malcolm or Naquan will get in a foul. It's always a positive. Why do they do that?
Yeah, we see that with both our teams here in the city. The Grizzlies do the same thing. Very similar kind of thing. They defend way from the basket, and over, UTSA, they weren't doing anything special. They get that same play to get that open corner three every time, and they would leave it. They would allow them to do it, and I just didn't understand. Like, they never made any adjustment to it, and it just happened the entire game. And I remember that play that you talked about, Naquan Tomlin. At the end of the game, they were like 4 seconds on the shot clock, and he bumped the guy. I was like, what are you doing? It's like 4 seconds on the shot clock, and you bail him out and put him on the free throw line. If not for that foul, the game, there were several times where they could have ended that game in regulation, and they just couldn't do it. I think Penny kind of iced Quinley. Quinley looked like he had a lane to the basket that possibly could have been a game-winning layup, and Penny called the timeout. I don't hate the timeout in that situation, but felt like he kind of might have messed his own guy up there.
He did mess his own guy up there. And by the way, again, my feed, and also me yelling at the TV, call the damn timeout before you inbound the ball if you're going to call it at 3 seconds because you don't have anything set up.
Yeah.
Like that shot they got off was straight. Man, people were going in like you would not believe. And that was like a lot of people were saying, that's exactly what we're talking about. Those who, are Penny detractors. Don't give them the ammo.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, any coach is going to make mistakes. I think Penny is a fantastic coach. I think that was a mistake there. I agree with you. I think if you're going to call a timeout there, you just call a timeout initially. You don't wait till a guy gets momentum going toward the basket. I think the timeout was needed there. It just should have been called earlier.
All right. How are we going to look at how do you look at these last few games, as a fan? Are you just supposed to, are we upset? Are we happy? Are we satisfied? How should we honestly feel?
I think you're happy that they won all of them. God, thank God that they didn't lose, because that loss, if they had lost to UTSA, man, that would have been, I'm just saying, absolutely devastating. I was like, that team is 285 in the net. Like, no telling how much they would have dropped if they had lost that game. You could, even if they had lost some of the other ones, it wouldn't have been as bad as losing to UTSA. So thank God that they were able to pull those games out. And I think as a fan, I get the sentiment that you want to win the games, and they won all 5 of them. There's no question about that. My thing is that it just foreshadows bad things to come if they continue this way. And that's where I am on it. Like, it's great that they won the game. They're 14-2, and nothing you can say about that, but it's just the focus just isn't there. And if that focus continues to be the same as it is now, the just win is going to run out. Like I said earlier, that you go to Wichita State, you go to Tulane, you go to SMU, even at UAB. If you don't have that focus, one of these teams is going to jump on you. They have these slow starts, and you're not going to be able to get back in these games. They've been able to fight back and hit last-second shots. Eventually, that luck is going to go on the other side, and you're going to take a bad loss, and that's just not what you want to see, and that's my concern right now. I'm just hoping maybe, especially because UTSA is even different than the other ones we saw, maybe that's the wake-up call they need, and maybe they go up to Wichita State and smash them on Sunday. I'm hoping Daquan Walton, you saw him come around a little bit last night. He's starting to hit shots that look like the guy that we thought he was coming in here. He's going up to face his former team. He even said it after the game that it's going to be a little bit different there. It's not going to be empty like it was at Tulsa if they come out and have a slow start against Wichita State. That crowd's going to get on top of him, and it's going to be tough to come back. So he knows. I'm hoping he has a big game because he looks like he's kind of coming around. So that's an opportunity for him to kind of get some, I guess, quasi-revenge, so to speak, against his former team in his old stomping ground. So that would be fun to see on Sunday.
Tigers, the bad thing, gave up 94 points to UTSA in the regulation. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's rough, man.
That is rough. But, hey, they did get the dub. Again, we also, Nick Jourdain's been playing great. David Jones, clearly. We got a lot of things, but like you said, I think Jaquan Walton's also found his shot again. There are positives, and maybe they'll be fired up and ready to go against Wichita State, and we won't even be talking about this next week. But we got to take a quick timeout, Isaac, because we haven't even talked Grizzlies. We do that on the other side right here on Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Be sure to follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes.
Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports 56 WHBQ.
This holiday season, give the gift of Gould's with a Gould's gift card for someone you love. It's the perfect gift for everyone. The Gould's gift card doesn't just send wishes, it grants them in store and online. Just come to any Gould's and pick up a gift card or go to GouldSalonSpa.com to purchase online. That's GouldSalonSpa.com. Happy holidays from Gould's. Gould's Salon Spa, locally owned and operated since 1932. Looking for your next car? Give Car Corner a try. Car Corner, located at 2653 Mount Moriah. They specialize in cars under $15,000. Bad credit? No problem at Car Corner. CarCornerMemphis.com. That's CarCornerMemphis.com. They even have cash cars under $7,000. That's Car Corner at 2653 Mount Moriah. CarCornerMemphis.com. Look for the building with the teal green roof.
Wendy's new breakfast 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles let you create your own delicious combo. Choose from a sausage biscuit, egg and cheese biscuit, small seasoned potatoes, and a medium hot coffee. But it's obvious which combo's the best. Sausage biscuit and small seasoned potatoes. Well, maybe it's the fresh cracked egg and cheese biscuit with a medium hot coffee. Or 2 savory sausage biscuits. Whichever you pick, you can't go wrong. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's new 2 for $3 Biggie Bundles.
Limited time only. U.S. price and participation may vary. Not valid in a combo. Single item at regular price.
A good friend of mine told me about this awesome place for lunch.
Oh, yeah? What's the name?
Neil's Grill and Bar, where the fat man rocks. Everybody knows Neil.
Where's it located?
It's located in Yorkshire Square off Quince.
And what's it like?
The best lunch place in Memphis. You know, like real mashed potatoes and gravy. Everything is made from scratch. Monday through Friday, daily lunch specials like Monday baked chicken, Italian Tuesday, spaghetti, ravioli, Italian spinach, delicious fried catfish, fried chicken livers every Wednesday, Friday, Salisbury steak, barbecue chicken, or if you just want a vegetable plate, the best veggies in town.
What about the lunch price?
Meat and 2 veggies, $8.95. Meat and 3 veggies, $10.95. And veggie plate, $9.95. Big fat boy portions, man.
Man, you're making me hungry.
Come hear the best live local music at Neil's. Eddie Smith plays Sundays 5 to 9, Mondays karaoke, Tuesdays Debbie Jameson, Wednesdays Elmo and the Shades, Thursdays John Williams and the A440 Band at Neil's.
Where the fat man rocks.
All the wisdom of the universe is in these bones.
Now back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio, hanging out here with Brian Dacus, and of course, it is Thirsty Thursday. You know we've been talking Tigers with Isaac Simpson. Follow him at Isaac_NBA. Also check out his work at TigerSportsReport.com. And don't forget, we're talking Grizzlies. Sports Ethos is the place. It's at Ethos Grizzlies on the Twitter. He does podcasts on all kinds of business. Make sure you check him out. And he joins me every Thirsty Thursday. Thank you, Tito's. What up, Isaac?
Man, what up, what up?
Man, did you see Marcus Smart is going to be reevaluated in 6 weeks?
Yeah.
What?
They, and like you said, they didn't even say return in 6 weeks. They said reevaluated in 6 weeks, which I don't know who has the Grizzlies voodoo doll out, but they need to put it up, man. I think we've had enough. I'm yelling uncle like I don't want any more of whatever this negativity and this hex is that seems to be on this franchise right now, man. They just can't catch a break.
It's that bad juju, bro.
Yeah, man. Marcus kind of, after the game, he was positive, thinking, okay, well, it's not broken. Like, I'm good to go. This might be a couple games, man. And you get the 6 week news, man. It's just crazy.
Yeah, by the way, if you're wondering, so I thought it was just basically he had a normal dislocation. It's a rupture of his proximal phalangeal joint, his central slip. And I'm not a doctor, but that sounds serious.
Yeah, and they said severe. That it's a severe type of injury. Like I said, I don't know that.
A rupture is always severe.
But yeah, that sounds pretty bad. Sounds painful. Sounds very, very painful. So looks like they're going to be without him. You say 6 weeks. That's past the All-Star break. I mean, it's getting to the point now, and I'm not a guy that's going to go out and root for losses or anything like that, especially when you kind of look at their situation. You look at the standings, and even with what they have going on, they'd be sixth, probably in sixth right now in the lottery order. It would be kind of hard for them to move up to 5 or higher, barring them getting luck in the lottery. So they're kind of locked in somewhere 6, 7, 8 is probably where they're going to land, just even organically. So it's not a lot of incentive to go out and lose more games. But I think at this point, you got guys, you overworking Dez, you overworking Darren. I think there are times that you want to give those guys night off or shorter minutes when guys are banged up, kind of rest them. I think you just kind of go into that because I think at this point, you don't have Smart. I mean, things were looking okay. He's been playing really, 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 really well, and you saw what they did on that road trip. Now that you don't have him either, man, they're just in a rough spot right now, man. I think there might be time to kind of let any thoughts of this season being a while or any kind of success go.
I'm just going to be honest with you. I've already come to the conclusion. Here's what I want the Grizzlies to do. We're tanking for Caitlin Clark. Get her here in the Grizzlies uniform. She can hit the threes. She's the best basketball player on the earth right now. I'm telling you, tank for Caitlin Clark. No, I'm just kidding. Tanking's not fun, and it's just not exciting. But right now, I feel like the front office, and I'm not saying you tank. Like, you don't go out there. Nobody goes out there and purposely loses basketball games. But now you just basically have to evaluate what you got in Zaire Williams, what you got in Jake LaRavia, David Roddy. Bring up, figure out still what you have with, Mr. Williams, Vince. I feel like that's where you just have to evaluate really what you got going forward and start looking towards next year. I hate to say it.
Yeah, but speaking of Vince Williams Jr., man, it's fantastic to get him on that 3-year, $7.9 million deal with a team option for a fourth. That's going to end up being the best contract in the NBA. Like, I don't think there's any question. The value that he brings, because you look around the league, you got guys making $19, $20 million, like Luke Kennard, for instance, making like $19 million. Is he that much more valuable to you than Vince Williams Jr., that much better player? That just shows you how great that contract is, and he earned it. Like, I don't think he probably wouldn't have gotten that opportunity if it wasn't for attrition, but I'm glad that he got a chance to go out there and show this franchise, his front office, his coaching staff what he could do, man. He got rewarded for it, man. So I'm glad he's locked up here, going to be here for probably 4 more years at least. So I think they got a steal with him on that contract. You know what he does on the defensive end. Don't have to run plays for him, just has a knack of making great plays. He rebounds, can knock down a three at a decent clip. He's just a winning player. And they've been looking for a guy like that on a wing. I think it also makes Zaire Williams, his importance not, because it was big. You needed Zaire to kind of pan out to be something. And I think getting Vince Williams Jr. to see what player he is, I think that kind of negates that a little bit.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, you get him, second round, close to 50th pick. And he's tearing it up in the end. Like you said, locking him up for 3.7. I'm glad my man's got a little bit of bread right now. But, bro, for $3.7 million to do all that he does, that's pretty sick. But also he's also a big reason that they've somehow won these last 3 games. Huge over fourth quarter against the Lakers on the road. Ridiculous fourth quarter against the Suns with no Ja. No problem. But remember, Marcus Smart was a big part of that win. He was dropping, 28, 29 points back-to-back in those games, hitting threes and doing everything. So missing him is going to be huge. We know Ja's gone. Again, I think you just have to start, evaluating what you have left on the roster, bring other things up, pieces, and try to figure out what you got. But they did win also against the Mavericks, and now they play Friday against the Clippers. For the gambling public, do you think with all the negativity that's still gone around, I mean, you got 3 straight wins on the road, which they're better on the road, which is crazy. And now they come back to the house. Like, the Clippers are going to have to be, 10-point favorites in this game?
Yeah, I would think so, no question. You hope, especially if Jaren doesn't play. Now, Jaren was questionable against Dallas. Sunday Aldama was also out. He was doubtful. So with this team, usually if a guy's questionable, that means that they'll probably play the next game. So I would expect Jaren to be back out there tomorrow night. But Smart was a big part of what they were doing. And that road trip was crazy. I mean, to go 3-0 against the Lakers, Suns, and Mavericks, even if this team was at full health, had Steven Adams and everybody, that would have been impressive. Like, I still would have said, man, they're not going 3-0 on this trip. So that was impressive. I think probably one of the most improbable road trips in the history of this team in Memphis. Like, that's how crazy that was for them to go 3-0 on that trip. But I think at some point, just reality is going to set in. I mean, guys are going to get tired. They're going to get banged up. I don't know how long they can keep up that great effort that we've seen once reality sets in, that we're not going to have Smart for 6 weeks. Ja's gone. I think mentally at some point it's going to check out. But guys like Dez and Tripp, they're going to go out there and play hard. I don't have any question about that. It's just going to be how the front office handles this, how the coaching staff handles it. Like you said, evaluating some of the younger guys at this point. I mean, why put Jacob Gravy out there, man? Put these young guys out there. There's no reason not to, man. It's just kind of see what you have and who's going to be a part of this team going forward and who's not. I think that's what they can use for the rest of this season, man, to be evaluation time.
Man, Isaac, I can't believe our time is already gone. I could talk to you all day about this stuff. We've been talking Grizzlies and Tigers. You want more of it? Make sure you check out those Grizzlies podcasts. Tell everybody how they can find them, Isaac.
Yeah, man, Ed Ethos Grizzlies got one up that we recorded last night. Candace Higgins and myself breaking down all the hot topics. A lot going on with the Grizz right now, man, so we got a lot to discuss. So you can check the timeline or you go over to Ed Ethos Grizzlies. Find that. Also, TigerSportsReport.com and my personal Twitter feed, Isaac_NBA.
Now, some personal business with you real quick before I have to say goodbye. I want to wish you luck. Cowboys, are they going to pull it out and beat up on the Green Bay Packers this weekend?
Man, with the Cowboys, I never want to be overconfident, but they are just flat out better than that team in every aspect. I mean, this is a game that they should just roll, man. They're at home. You talk about a young team, Jordan Love, young quarterback.
Youngest team in the NFL this year, and the youngest team to ever make the playoffs.
Yeah, man, they don't have playoff experience. I don't know who they have that can cover CeeDee Lamb. I think he's going to have a big thing. And the biggest thing in this game, I think, the Cowboys have struggled to run the football this season. But I think against Green Bay their rush defense is terrible. Like, they've struggled all year against the run. I think Dallas is going to be able to come out and establish the run. And if you let Tony Pollard get going on this team, adding that to what they do with the passing game, I don't know how you stop that Cowboys offense.
Man, well, Sunday you should be celebrating around 6:30, my friend. Be blessed, Isaac. We'll do it again next Thursday.
Will do, man. Talk to you next week.
That's my buddy Isaac Simpson. Now we get to talk to the wonderful Evie Van Pelt from the Rebel Walk. We got to talk all kinds of things. I've been looking at the betting lines over here, by the way, during the show, and I've been looking at them yesterday. Bet Online. I think it's AG on the Twitter, BetOnline AG. They put out the odds, and you can actually bet on who's going to be the favorite to be replacing Nick Saban. The odds have changed. I'll talk about that and more on the other side. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
We all appreciate luxury. We love the newest technology. We want something that sparkles and looks great. Well, I've got it all in one place. It's called Genesis of Olive Branch, right at the corner of Highway 78. That's Lamar. And the first exit in Mississippi, that's Craft Road. Turn left and you will see Genesis of Olive Branch. And right now, you can get the 2024 Genesis GV70 starting at $49,480 with special financing as low as 3.49% on select models. How about the 2024 Genesis GV80? A little bit bigger, starting at $55,995, financing as low as 5.49% with a $2,000 rebate when trading a luxury brand. Call them. They'll even bring you a Genesis at your work or your home for a test drive. They're convinced that when you drive a Genesis, you're going to want one. Call 662-890-6684. Ask for Vinny. Genesis of Olive Branch.
If you love sports and Mexican food, you can get the best of both at Los Cabos Mexican Bar and Grill on Summer near Graham. Watch all the big games on all the big TVs on all the walls at Los Cabos and enjoy premium tequila shots anytime for just $5.50. Celebrate every day with lunch specials from 10 to 3 and happy hour from 3 to 8. Lunch is just $6.75 to $10.99 and margaritas start at $3.99. Experience real Mexican cuisine along with great sports at Los Cabos on Summer near Graham.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger. Because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry, and they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
Bartlett Small Engine has free pickup and delivery both at your home and curbside for lawnmowers, blowers, edgers, and any small engine. Call 901-386-9779. Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Come on, let's get nuts.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy, Johnny Radio. It's a Thirsty Thursday in the Mid-South. Thank you, Tito's. And thanks to all the great news, or sad news, or wonderful news, however you look at it. Again, Bill Belichick retired. Bill Belichick, actually, they say they parted ways. Bill Belichick was fired. The lesson, again, from this is if Bill Belichick can get fired, anybody can get fired. So I guess you better get out there and do your job. Nick Saban retired. Pete Carroll was let go. It's been a wild, 24 hours. And it's also been extremely wild just basically around the sports landscape, period. And now we're going to talk a little Ole Miss, a lot of SEC with the great Evie Van Pelt from the Rebel Walk. You can follow her at Ole Miss Evie on Twitter. Follow the Rebel Walk at the Rebel Walk. And always go to therebelwalk.com to read their work. First and foremost, Evie, how are you doing, dear? You're better, right? You feel better?
I'm better. I am better. I'm just finally getting better. So it was a long road, but I'm coming out the other side just in time for all this craziness.
I know, it's wild. And by the way, I'm feeling better, but Evie, I'm telling you, you can ask Dacus, my brain has not been working since I came back this week. Like, I'm saying crazy stuff.
Are you really?
Well, it's like I'm just like I was like, hey man, will you take me a Photoshop of that and send it to me? And I meant to say screenshot. I know what I'm talking about, but the wrong things came out. When I was talking about rankings, I said the seeds. I mean, I've been all over the place. My brain still isn't working, so that's why I'm grateful for you to be here. But I do have to bring this up before we jump into all of our goodies. I just thought it was fascinating. So last night, when all this stuff was breaking down, there's a little place called, betonline.ag.
Yes.
And they take bets on very crazy stuff. You can't go to the BetMGM and bet on who's going to be Alabama's next head coach. That's where you do it on betonline.ag. I thought it was very fascinating. It comes out, Dan Lanning was plus 300. Lane Kiffin was plus 500. Dabo Swinney was at second, plus 400. You have Kalen DeBorg up there, plus 600. And you had all, it was just, go all the way to Sark was plus 3,500. Well, since Dan Lanning said that he was coming back to Oregon, you won't believe what the odds are. They have changed a lot. They have changed a lot. They just came out. Have you seen the new ones?
I haven't. Right before we came on, I was looking at the last set of ones, and I've got Bama people sending me odds. But what does it show Norvell up there?
No, you wouldn't believe this. Since Dan Lanning said he's returning, he's now the betting favorite. It's dropped him to minus 130.
Oh!
I thought that was awesome. He was plus 300. He just says he's staying in Oregon, and then his odds go from plus 300 to minus 30. Now Lane Kiffin has moved into the second spot at plus 450, Sark at plus 900, Mike Norvell plus 1,000. Those are your top four. Dabo rounds out the top five at plus 1,000. So we're talking about the coaching carousel. Should Ole Miss fans be nervous?
Well, it's funny because I've got a ton of Ole Miss fans messaging me asking that exact question, and it's not even necessarily would Lane Kiffin get the Bama job, because, again, from what my sources say at Bama, they just still have a few issues with Lane, and he's not atop their list. So, now again, could that be a smokescreen from Greg Byrne? Sure, anything is possible at this point. But what people do start thinking is, about those dominoes falling. Like, okay, what if they hired Norvell from Florida State to go to Alabama? Then does Lane consider going to Florida State? Which I don't think so. I think the only school probably in Florida Lane would consider going to would be Florida. So I'm not really worried about that. But, you just see all these dominoes out there. And so right now I'm just still getting the message from my sources inside the Bama program. I mean, they really felt pretty confident about Lanning. So I don't know how great they are as sources, but that they just don't think Lane is as high on the list as apparently Vegas thinks Lane is.
Well, again, some of the, I guess people, probably a lot of them the same, where I was talking to were exactly in the same, saying the exact same things that you are and your sources are. So it's been a fascinating situation, like the whole thing unraveling. And I also thought it was hilarious. Like, if you looked at my phone, I had 100 texts from Ole Miss fans concerned. And I think I had 300 texts from Vols fans saying, LFG, this is the greatest day of my life.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it is funny to see the reactions of the different fans and different fan bases. But anyway, so I saw initially where I think Bama's AD had indicated he hoped to have something done within 72 hours. I mean, I don't know. That'd be great. Put all the rest of us out of our misery sooner rather than later. But what I can say is I would be willing to bet that this was not a surprise to Greg Byrne. I don't think Nick Saban just let it get to be yesterday afternoon and then just, got a wild hair and decided he was going to retire. I think this is something that they've known about, and I would just feel quite sure that they've had plans in place.
I would have to say 100%. And plus, you know how Nick is. It's not like he makes knee-jerk reactions and decisions just willy-nilly. There is like with the whole Nick Saban situation that's, breaking and everything that's going around, it's basically got everybody, everybody looking at everything from a different angle. We talked about Ole Miss, how they're looking at other fan bases. How do you think Alabama fans feel today?
Well, I think they were really caught off guard. I mean, I think a lot of people, a lot of us have had those conversations throughout the season. I mean, Saban is 72. When is the end going to be the end? But I think the way he took that team this season and took them from where they started to where they finished was a remarkable coaching job by him. I don't know that anybody expected after, he made it to the Final Four this year. I don't think anybody thought, okay, that'll be it. I think everybody probably thought, there was a little bit longer. So I think Alabama fans are still in shock. I mean, when it very first came out and Chris Lowe tweeted the initial tweet about it, I sent it to, I'm in a Bama group that, it's very kind of them to let me stay in their group. But, they said, oh, no, Evie, we think that's fake. And I'm thinking, yeah, that's the real Chris Lowe. That's the real Chris Lowe, real Chris Lowe Twitter. And so they had a hard time even wrapping their minds around it. So, and then, of course, there were all the reports last night that which I received some of them too. Dan Lanning's in Tuscaloosa. Well, no.
Oh, yeah. We were watching flights last night.
Yes, he was at home. He was at home watching Jason Bourne movies, apparently. So he was not in Tuscaloosa. So I don't know what to say, but other than like you, he's come out and said he likes it where he is. So now next man up, and I certainly hope that next man up is not Lane Kiffin. I think Lane has made comments in the past. It would be very hard to follow a Nick Saban. And like everybody says, you don't want to follow Nick Saban. You want to follow the guy that follows Nick Saban,
Exactly.
So let's hope that's in play. All the things that have kept Lane in Oxford thus far are still there.
I got to think this recruiting class this year also. I mean, he's got his children, and like you said, that's huge. Of course, family, is first and always. But dadgummit, like to leave with the roster that he's bringing back next year, I would think would kind of get up in his crawl.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he's got a phenomenal class, and let's face it, if you're Lane Kiffin and you want to be able to compete for a national title, man, that 12-team playoff sure has opened things up for you. And the transfer portal and the navigation that he's doing in that, the Rebels are currently right now, even after the loss of Quinshon, which I don't think we've even talked about yet, but they are still number one in the transfer portal rankings, the 247 rankings as of this morning. I checked it, and they have added LSU transfer running back Logan Diggs, announced yesterday he is going to be transferring to Ole Miss. And
he
so,
just keeps on rolling.
He just keeps on rolling. So I think that train is gone, and I don't think it's headed to Tuscaloosa.
I don't either. I really don't. I was telling my friends to relax yesterday. Now to talk about this squad real quick. You talk about how Quinshon left. A lot of people in Ole Miss, the area, the fans were very, very concerned. Some of them were talking about, Ulysses has been, Ulysses been at the fourth. He's got this junt under control. Yada 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 yada. See what he did, with next to Quinshon last year. You bring in another running back. How good is the running game going to be next season?
Well, I think as long as Lane Kiffin is at the helm, I think you're going to see a very strong ground game. And not only that, I told folks, losing, yes, you can't deny losing a running back of the caliber of Quinshon. I mean, that's a loss. But that being said, I think the system that Kiffin runs, and here's my X factor. I think Kevin Smith is one of the best running back coaches in the nation. And he and Kiffin are very, very good at spotting talent, and they're very, very good at coaching talent in that system that they have. I think Bentley, it's funny, Ulysses Bentley in the bowl game, in the Peach Bowl, the announcers were even commenting on Bentley, and they said, look, he runs with so much juice, so to speak, which is kind of funny. But, I think he's very, very talented. I think he's going to be healthy next year. I think the 4-star running back from New Caney, Texas, Kedrick Riscano, I think we'll see what he can do next season. And with Logan Diggs, this LSU transfer, I think there was some talk, that maybe he was injured in their bowl game, and might it have been something that would keep him out for all of 2024? We have since heard from a number of sources that no, he should be ready to play, the first couple of weeks, I would think, of 2024. So that's good. He's an excellent runner. I mean, he was second on the team in yards only to Jaden Daniels,
Yeah.
Excellent runner. And honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Ole Miss got another portal running back, but maybe in the spring, kind of see how things shake out, for that next portal window. But I just, again, Quinshon is, not easily replaceable, but there are a lot of talented backs out there, and the transfer portal changes the game, and the portal king will do what he does.
Now, also, not even just the portal, though, Lane is returning his quarterback. Those stud wide receivers. You got your tight end coming back. I mean, that offense should be humming on all cylinders.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and that's been
for Jackson Dart, a third year in his system as the starter.
Oh.
That's going to be big.
It really is, and I feel like Jackson had such a good game against Penn State that it really, we talked about what a good defense that Penn State has, and I tell you what, Jackson did very well in that game and finished, I believe, I want to say his total QBR was up, in the 90s in that game. So I think he showed out very well against a very strong defense. So to have him back, and then, like you say, my gosh, to have Trey Harris and Jordan Watkins, both receivers, and to have Caden Prescorn, that right there, man, did he not have himself a game in the Peach Bowl? So I think
Memphis fans were texting me like, y'all are thieves.
Thieves. So I really and truly think that offense is so complementary with its ground game and its passing game. And, there was some talk initially. We didn't know, Ulysses Bentley was a senior. He might, there was some talk that he was going to go play in one of the postseason, senior games, East-West Shrine game, I believe. But they did work out things with the Grove Collective. I don't know if Walker Jones, if they backed up the truck, but, whoever is in, handling business there, all that team with Walker, they're doing a fantastic job.
They really are. The Collective has been tearing it up. Now, this is a question. I've got just another one text to my personal phone, and it says, "Deadgummit John, will you ask her what happened? Why did Quinshon leave?"
Well, there's a lot of differing things there, but I will tell you, he did seem a little odd to me in Atlanta during the media week. Something seemed a little bit off. One of my writers who was there with me and I were talking about it. I do think that there were issues, and I've had confirmation from some pretty solid sources. I mean, I want to be careful. I don't want to ever disparage a kid. What he did for Ole Miss was phenomenal. He's an incredible runner. I think he did have some interpersonal issues on the team. I do believe that Jackson Dart called timeout to address that with Coach Kiffin. I do believe that there were some issues with Quinshon and some of his offensive linemen, and that there are probably some teammates who are not really that sorry to see him go. But again, that being said, we may never know the complete story there. But we wish him the best, and next man up.
Next man up. Man, I could sit here and talk football all day long, but man, I got to talk about Ole Miss's basketball team. Last night, they were getting 2.5 points against Florida. They were catching 2.5 points, and they went out there and just, man, they bully whipped them.
I mean, they really did. It was, it was a 4-point game at the half. And I remember thinking, just because, I'm also an Ole Miss fan, in addition to being an Ole Miss journalist, so I'm not going to say I thought any wheels were going to fall off, but 44-40 was pretty close at the half, and I did not see that second half explosion coming, but I'm really, really glad that it did. Really happy for them. I think they worked really hard, and, again, we have an article out right now. One of our writers does takeaways from the game, and he's just talked about that, the culture, Beard, culture is written all over that program, literally and figuratively. And I think that we're seeing that, and I think that we're seeing that in the way that they responded. I think that's exactly the way that Beard wanted them to respond.
And they definitely responded. I mean, Florida, I believe, only had the lead for about maybe 2 minutes, and that was in the first 10 minutes of the basketball game. And then after that, the Gators just said, the Ole Miss Rebels just said, all right, it's time to, eat some Gator meat. And they just went, and especially in the second half, it was ridiculous. Moussa Cisse was doing all kinds of stuff. Jalen Murray, Brakefield, it was wild.
It really was. They picked up their rebounding. Ole Miss, gosh, Florida turned the ball over 13 times. Ole Miss scored 24 points off of turnovers. And Ole Miss, I think only turned the ball maybe over 8 times. Just really to me, and how about, we can't not talk about a couple of things. Jamin Breakfield's career high, 28 points. Man, was he on.
He was on fire.
And played 36 minutes in that game. And then Jamarian Sharp and his block. I mean, 9 blocks in a game. Come on. Now that's what 7'5"
There was
is supposed
16
to do.
blocks. You had 16 blocks in the game. He had 9 of them.
He had 9 of them, yes. Program high, 16 blocks, and a personal best, I believe, a program best there for an individual with a 9. And much less, the last time Ole Miss scored 100 points on an SEC opponent was all the way back in 2001 against Alabama. So quite a lot going on to unpack in that game yesterday. Really excited for him, and now they play Vanderbilt.
It's kind of wild. Both Mississippi schools yesterday broke history since 2001. Mississippi State hadn't beat a top 10 team since December 2001. They've had 35 chances. They were 0-35, and bam, they beat up Tennessee.
Man, they did. Coming off of, I never expected that, coming off of how
they handled the Rebels.
Tennessee, oh man, they looked good against the Rebels. So, that was definitely something unexpected. But it just goes to show you, here we go, SEC baby.
SEC, and again, like you said, Chris Beard's got it going on. Rebels are doing good. How's Coach Yo doing? What's been going on? I know that LSU was in town last weekend.
Yes, they lost that game, but I tell you what, I think what we're seeing, to me, they're getting much more comfortable with their offense. They've had to, because their starting point guard, KK Deans, went down in the early part of the season. They have moved Madison Scott to point guard. They tried a couple of, they tried the 2 young freshmen that they had, and I think Coach Yo just was not feeling it with that. And so she moved forward Madison Scott over, and she's kind of their stopgap for the rest of the season. And so imagine that, shifting from a power forward to running the offense.
Yeah, that's wild.
Yeah, and so Coach Yo said, we had a media op with her yesterday, and she said, she is a nightmare for coaches. She said, we've not had a coach yet not talk about Maddie being at the point. So she said, we've got to get her to understand you're just playing the point. If you have someone smaller than you, go post them up. So anyway, so far, I think in the first 2 SEC games, she's averaged 12.5 points a game and 6.5 assists per game. And against LSU, she had a season best 8 assists. So I think we're going to see her to continue to grow and get more comfortable in that role.
It's pretty wild turnout. I mean, was that thing? I mean, it was sold out, wasn't it?
Yes, over 9,000 were in attendance. That was a new program record. And so, she's talked a lot about how Dawn Staley has told her, the next step for your team is to get used to playing in front of those loud, raucous crowds. And she said, because we haven't been. And, even in your own home. And so I'm, real hopeful that that's going to continue. So, boy, both Chris Beard and Coach Yo are just doing amazing work and definitely changing and building the culture there.
Well, last but not least, baseball is right around the corner, believe it or not.
I know it. I tell you what, I'm really working hard to find any sponsors out there. Give me a call. We're really wanting to head to Hawaii for the opening tournament. So I don't know how likely that will be, but man,
help her out. Reach out to Evie. Like, hit me at
Evie
DM
at the
me.
Rebel Walk.
Yeah,
that's right.
Reach
Evie
out.
at TheRebelWalk.com. Yeah, we would love to represent you in Hawaii. But seriously, we're really looking forward to the start. I think with Xavier Rivas and JT Quinn and Grayson Saunier, all 3 back, I think that you're going to find Quinn and Saunier. Yes, I think that they both were freshmen last year, learned a lot trial by fire, in the SEC last year, and everything that I've seen. They've really worked hard in the off season, and we're looking forward to it.
I will say, just kind of a little sidebar before I have to let you go. Thanks for letting me keep you a little longer than normal. I was, the strength I can't think of his name, dadgummit, the strength coach over at Ole Miss. He was actually, they did a little special on the SEC Network with the baseball team and him and what they did for like a week of competing against each other.
Oh, yeah.
It was...
Yes. The Pizza Bowl, they
That's
do
it.
all their, that was fantastic. I tell you what, those baseball boys, I mean, we were monitoring that way. They were getting after it. Yes, they were. That was some old school competition.
Yeah, it really was. I'll tell you, I mean, it's not something I even play, and I'm, flipping through, going from one sports station to the other, and next thing you know, I'm like, whoa. And then, man, I was stuck. But, man, Evie, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate everything. Please, everybody, seriously, if you want the Ole Miss Rebels covered in Hawaii, reach out to Evie. Let's get her to Hawaii. Make sure we get a little bit of baseball in our life. If you need anything for Ole Miss sports information, always go to therebelwalk.com. They'll have you covered. Follow them on Twitter at @therebelwalk, and always follow Evie at Ole Miss Evie, and listen to her right here every Thursday from 12 to now 12:30. Thank you, dear. Be blessed, and I hope that Alabama gets a coach sooner than later so you can rest a little.
Amen. Thank you, and I'm glad you're on the mend, and you sound perfect to me, and thank you for having me, and hotty toddy. Talk to you soon.
Hotty toddy. That is Evie Van Pelt from the Rebel Walk. I'm late for a break. I'm going to take a quick time out. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Is your wife asking you to stop eating junk food? Well, we have you covered at Humdinger's. It's quick and it's healthy, and most important, it tastes amazing. With many choices from salmon salad to rainbow trout and grilled asparagus. Come visit us for lunch at Humdinger's, 6300 Poplar Avenue. So good, Coach Penny eats with us weekly. Don't forget, Humdinger's offers full-service catering for weddings, social events, or your corporate lunches. You can call 901-260-8292 to find out more.
Denise has been playing jazz for 40 years. Last concert, one of the musicians fell sick with RSV. Respiratory syncytial virus, or RSV, is a highly contagious virus that can lead to breathing problems. This time, she's choosing to help protect herself with Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo. Abrysvo is a vaccine for the prevention of lower respiratory tract disease caused by respiratory syncytial virus, RSV, in adults 60 years of age and older. Abrysvo is not for everyone and may not protect all who receive the vaccine. Don't get Abrysvo if you've had a severe allergic reaction to its ingredients. People with a weakened immune system may have a decreased response to Abrysvo. The most common side effects are tiredness, headache, pain at the injection site, and muscle pain. Ask your pharmacist or doctor about Pfizer's RSV vaccine, Abrysvo, respiratory syncytial virus vaccine. For full prescribing information, please call 1-844-989-7284 or visit abrysvo.com. Brought to you by Pfizer.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
It's a new year, and Family Leisure has a new way to bring family and fun together. All you have to do is walk into Family Leisure and look around. All those floor model patio sets you see, those have got to go, so Family Leisure can make room for all the new sets coming. Get a wicker sofa set for under $2,000. Pool tables under $1,500. Theater seating for under $2,000. Hot tubs for $4,000 or just for yourself. If you really want to lounge, they're under $5,000. Need patio cushions? Get them as low as $25. Oh, have you seen those infrared steam saunas? Well, now they and the traditional saunas are 25% off. It may just be the first few weeks of 2024, but that doesn't mean you can't start getting ready for summer. Two final things. Purchase your above-ground pool now and get first in line for installation, and take advantage of special financing that's available. Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, bringing the family and the fun back together.
All the wisdom of the universe is in these bones.
Now back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy, Johnny Radio. Hanging out with Bryant Dacus. Man, life's been really good, man. You know what I'm saying? Got a lot of news. Tigers got a win. Miracle out there, Keister. That's good news. Bad news is, man, they gave up 94 points in regulation to UTSA, a 7-8 team going in. Now 7-9. Ouch. Grizzlies got some more bad news. Just 2 days ago, we found out Ja Morant was not going to be playing the rest of the season. Today, Grizzlies fans found out Marcus Smart will be reevaluated in 6 weeks. He didn't just dislocate his finger. There was a rupture in that joint. A rupture is not good. That is a sudden break or explosion. Rupture. Not good when we're talking about your body. So Marcus Smart will be out. He was huge in those road victories, but now my man's on the mend. Grizzlies got a lot of soul searching to do. Now, right now, you probably got to think to yourself, what am I going to do for lunch? That's not even the biggest decision you have. It's like 12:30. It's on a Thursday. What am I going to eat? Man, if you're anywhere near Collierville, head on over there to like Collierville's historic town square. Go to Dyer's at 101 North Center Street. Heck, call them right now at 901-850-7750 and put in an order. I mean, they've got everything. And I mean everything. They got their famous burgers, dogs. They got all kinds of chicken sandwiches, which are absolutely delicious. They got a big old BLT. They got chicken salad to die for. Don't forget, they got unbelievable chili. Get some fries, throw a little chili on that, some cheese. They got great homemade onion rings. Everything at Dyer's is absolutely fabulous. Grab the family, grab the friends, and head on over to Dyer's. It's not just downtown anymore. It's also out there in Collierville. Also, check out their website, dyerscafe.com. Let's go to Hardwood.
This is Access Hardwood.
Uh-oh. Reports are coming out that Mike Irvin, you know, the playmaker, or Mike Irvin, I always add a G to him. My brain isn't working, man.
Oh, you're going to talk about Vrabel. Go ahead.
No, I'm not going to talk about Vrabel first because this is more Hardwood.
Okay.
He's under police investigation yet again.
Interesting.
The cops have launched a criminal investigation into the Dallas Cowboy legend, and they say that they will not, because it's very early into the investigation, they are not at any point right now prepared to release any classification regarding the playmaker and his legal status. Now, his attorney, Mr. Levi, came out and said, yo, my client has done nothing wrong or inappropriate. And this will turn out to be much ado about nothing. So, again, the playmaker back in the hairs of the Johnny Law. So that's like one person you don't want checking you out is Johnny Law. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Don't want that to happen. What, man? I feel like I don't feel bad. Never mind. I don't know what he did. I just know that he didn't do anything at the Hilton. And remember, that girl basically said he did a lot, which he did nothing. But I don't feel bad for him because I forgot. You know that he he sued the Hilton for $100 million, and then they settled out of court. So you know he got some coin for that.
Wow, good for him.
I didn't even think about that. Man got coin. Man got coin already. Coin makes coin, doesn't it? Now go ahead with the Mike Vrabel.
What about it?
Thought you said you were going to bring up Mike.
No, I thought you were going to bring up Mike Vrabel.
No, you bring up the Mike Vrabel. Blah, blah. I can't even say his name today.
You want me to talk about Mike Vrabel?
Yep.
Okay. Diana Rossini, who does a great job covering the NFL, has now reported via The Athletic the reasons that Mike Vrabel was fired by
the Titans.
By the Titans. Thank you, John. And it's because of miscommunication. How about that? It had nothing to do really with on-the-field things. The relationship between coach and owner and
it had to do
general
with how
manager.
Handled, I thought, the Hall of Fame thing when he was inducted into it.
Yes, that was part of it. That's kind of where it started, is what Diana Rossini's reporting. But then there were other things that came out. Mike Vrabel wasn't really sold on Rand Carthon being hired as the general manager, which made the owner upset. And then, of course, what happened at the Hall of Fame was not great. And then, how about this? Strunk left the game in Miami between the Titans and the Dolphins early when the Titans won that game. When they were losing, she left and was like, they're done. They're not winning this game, whatever. She left. Then they come back and win, and one of the analytic people on staff for the Titans was mad at Vrabel for going for 2, said that was not the smart decision to make, and that they shouldn't have gone for 2, whatever. But they still won.
They won the game, yeah.
Exactly. But that made Strunk mad that Vrabel went against analytics.
Well, again, sometimes you have to go with your gut.
Yeah, there's a lot of other things. There was another thing, I guess there was a story written in the Boston Sports Journal saying that Vrabel, and Carthon's relationship was not good, and that he was going to look for any way to force his way out of Tennessee, and then neither, spoke to each other about that report, and when asked about it, Vrabel was basically like, yeah, I mean, there's, nothing true about that, so why would I even talk about it? And Carthon kind of, felt slighted a little bit because he was like, why did we not speak about this? Why didn't we talk about it? So it really all came down to a bunch of miscommunication.
Miscommunication,
which is crazy.
All kinds of problems, bro. Now I got some health advisory out for you. Did you hear about the bottled water situation?
No.
A liter of bottled water contains 250,000 pieces of microplastic. That's not good, homie. So don't be drinking that bottled water unless y'all want to send EB to Ole Miss or pay me to talk good about it. Because right now, bottled water, which I don't drink that crap anyway because I ain't paying for water, I got a filter. Good old Memphis water. And all you people are getting tons and tons of microplastic in your body. And now this is the story that I can't wait. You know how magic mushrooms are magical, right? They take you out of this world.
Sure.
Where do you think magic mushrooms came from?
I don't know.
You won't believe this, but now scientists, like the real good ones, have now put out a paper and have now determined, they believe, when mushrooms and fungus came down here to Earth, especially the ones that make you trip and see magic mushrooms. So 65 million years ago, when the asteroid struck the Earth and made the dinosaurs go bye-bye, the asteroid is what created magic mushrooms and fungus. So they literally came from out of this world, and then they take you back out of this world, bro.
Interesting.
Is that not amazing?
I guess so.
Yep. Before, there was only 52 types of fungi specimens. Now there's millions and it was all brought because of an asteroid. If you couldn't have magic mushrooms if we didn't kill dinosaurs. And I don't even think we could be around if dinosaurs were still hanging around because we might get eaten all the time. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But we definitely wouldn't have good fungus. Now, if you're ever going to eat some fungus, I also got some TV watching advice for you. Have you ever heard of the show Obliterated?
No.
It's on the Netflix. You need to watch it out. It's got everything you want. It's like 90s TV, but made today in 2023. They're saving the world. They're doing drugs in Vegas. It's absolutely crazy, and it's hilarious. And there's a ton of nudity in it. It's on Netflix. It's called Obliterated. I gave it 2 thumbs up. Does that rate things on the Netflix? Because I've never done that before, but that was the first show I've ever given the 2 thumbs up to.
Well, it can be your gauge for your listeners. You can, 0, no thumbs up, a thumb down, 2 thumbs down if it's really
screen.
Bad.
No, like it's on the Netflix thing.
1 thumbs down if you don't like it. No thumbs if it's just okay. 1 thumb if it's good, and then 2 thumbs
Two
if
thumbs
it's great.
up.
Yeah.
It's 2 thumbs up, man. So check that out. Eat some mushrooms and thank the asteroid that brought him here 65 million years ago, and you'll be blessed. What was the other story that I wanted to finish on? What was it? Oh, Antonio Brown. By the way, okay, this is funny. Are Antonio Brown and Tyreek Hill racing each other?
I don't know.
I think they're in a race. To see who can be the wide receiver that has the most kids in the world without their girlfriend or their wife. Because Antonio Brown, he's with that one lady right now that says he's very serious and quotes they're like going to get married, right?
Yeah.
Well, she's not pregnant, but he's expecting his 7th child from another woman.
Wow.
Yep, and his announcement was one of the most bizarre things ever. He put a picture of that mother with her, I guess she sent him a screenshot of herself holding the birth control thing. You know what I'm talking about? Like the stick that you pee on. What is that damn thing? A pregnancy test.
That's right.
Bro, my brain is completely fried. So I guess that lady, she pees on a pregnancy test. She takes a picture of it showing that she's pregnant. She texts it to him. And again, it's not Chelsea, his longtime partner. It was the different girl. And he just kind of sent out a really weird tweet. He took the picture of her holding a pregnancy test. He tweets that junk out. And he says, F it, I'm rich. Let's do it. This girl want me in her uterus. Is that a weird? Oh no, it's on the Instagram. I'm sorry. Is that kind of like a weird thing to put on the IG?
Yeah, it is.
And that's a weird way to announce it to the world. I feel bad for Chelsea. Like I just want to say, I just have to say, I feel so bad for Chelsea. This girl's out here putting in that work, and he's just out there making more babies.
John, can I sneak one more story in here?
Man, go ahead, Sneaky.
Okay. Doug McDaniel, who is the best player on a bad Michigan Wolverines basketball team. He's averaging 18 points per game, shooting about 45% from the field. Really good player, young guy, sophomore for Michigan. It was announced yesterday, John, that he is going to be suspended for 6 games. That's right, a 6-game suspension. He announced it himself on Instagram, and it was later confirmed by the university. The only wrinkle to this suspension, John, is it's for 6 away games.
What?
So Doug McDaniel can play home games for the Michigan Wolverines.
But he can't play away games.
But he cannot play away games for Michigan. No.
So he's like basically suspended to campus, or like is he on house arrest?
Basically. That's a
So
great
they're
way
giving
to...
house arrest to like college kids now?
John, that's a great way to think of it. I was listening to something, and I forgot what former NBA player they were talking about, because I kind of just caught the tail end of it. But basically, there was a player in the NBA that had like a DUI or something like that, and so he was like locked up, kind of, but could go and play basketball, but he could only play home basketball games. Basically, what's going on here with Doug McDaniels, it sounds like his academics are struggling, and so I guess in an attempt to get him eligible, I would assume, they are making sure that he cannot travel, and I guess that he, in an attempt that he will stay home and study while the team is on the road.
Well, make sure you get your grades up, my man.
It's stupid.
Get your grades up.
Either suspend them for all the games,
When did Miles
or
Bridges,
don't suspend them at all.
Was it Miles Bridges who could only play at home or something?
No, this was someone for the Lakers, back 10 years ago.
Oh, this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago. All right.
Not a long time ago, but not recent.
I got you. I was guessing with Bridges. I mean, because what he did, I could see him being under house arrest very simply. I know he was suspended 25 games. Anyway, I'm not even going to talk about that anymore. I did have one other note.
It was Kentavious Caldwell-Pope.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Good job. How'd you score that so fast?
I just searched it. He was serving a 25-day jail sentence, and he was able...
They let him out of jail to go to the Coliseum and play. I mean, to the Crypto.com.
The 25-day jail sentence that allowed him
Staples
to leave
back then?
on a work release for games. So they said what he would do is he would, leave. He would, wake up from prison, and he would be like, I got to go to work. And they would, take him and drop him off at Staples, and he would just be there all day long, and then he would just hang out around there literally all day and then go back to prison at like 11, and he could only play home games, could not travel on the road. That's exactly what it was.
That's pretty fascinating. Now, one other note. Did you hear, we know what is definitely set for Arch Manning's role. What do you think Arch Manning's going to do at Texas next year?
Water boy.
He's going to be the backup quarterback. Because Quinn Ewers has said that he is not going to go to the NFL draft. He will be returning, and he will be the starting quarterback for Texas next year.
Didn't we already know that, though? Like, didn't he already say that? Or was that just,
he made
rumored?
It official. Like, everybody suspected he was coming
back.
Okay,
but he had never said anything.
He had never come out and officially declared. Well, today he declared his intentions are to return to Texas. Now, we're going to take that quick time out. We got one more segment. We got some bets. Sports 56, 98.5 FM.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli, with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
For the ones who get it done, the most important part is the one you need now. And the best partner is the one who can deliver. That's why millions of maintenance and repair pros trust Grainger, because we have professional-grade supplies for every industry, even hard-to-find products. And we have same-day pickup and next-day delivery on most orders. But most importantly, we have an unwavering commitment to help keep you up and running. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope, and they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Start learning a new language today. Go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
What's wrong? You look bereft.
I am bereft.
What is it?
Well, there's only 3 Central Barbecue locations. The original Central Barbecue on Central, it's closed.
Oh, don't worry, little buckaroo. The location on Central will be back before you know it, and better than ever.
But
Now, there's still the location on Summer. You love that one, right?
Yeah.
And there's still the Central Barbecue downtown and the Central Barbecue on Poplar. You love those too, right?
I do love those.
So you could go to those, and then when Central Barbecue on Central reopens, it'll be like Christmas, but with pork.
I feel better already.
The only power source capable of generating 1.21 gigawatts of electricity is a bolt of lightning.
Now, back to Sports 56 Happy Hour on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again, Johnny Radio.
Welcome back to a little Sports 56 Happy Hour. I'm your buddy Johnny Radio. I hope you've been blessed. I hope you've been enjoying your Thirsty Thursday. My time is almost up and gone, but we got to give you a little betting action. And I'm going to tell you right now, here's what I'm going to tell you to do with your money. Take it and put it on Coach Sark to be the next coach at Alabama. That's who I'm picking.
What are you going to bet your friend that or something? I mean, good Lord.
No, go to betonline.ag.
Oh, I didn't know they were there. You could bet on there.
Yeah, that's who has the odds right now.
I'm sorry, John. I feel like a jerk now.
Yeah, no, it's okay. I don't even think of you as a jerk. I actually think of you as a nice person. Just young and, young person who makes mistakes.
Young and stupid. That's right.
No, I didn't. I said make mistakes.
No, I said it, John. I said it.
I would never call a young person stupid.
I've heard you do it before. You usually do it daily on Hardwood. you Gen Z or whatever generation it is.
Yeah, whatever. Which one are we in now?
I don't know, John. I'm an idiot.
That's pretty funny, though. I'm being dead serious. I think it's going to be Sark. So sit back, relax, and we'll see what happens over the next 24, 48, 72, or a week as we wait to see who replaces Nick Saban. Now, we did have, by the way, one other thing I forgot to say. I found this out. So, we had bad news about Ja Morant, right?
Yeah.
Did you know there's one positive about this?
What's that?
That the Grizzlies could save $12,500,000 in cap space. Because of the disabled players exception, the DPE. So that is something, I guess we're trying to make like glass half full things about the whole Marcus Smart, Ja Morant. We've lost Steven Adams, man. It's tough for a Grizzlies fan right now. They're back at it tomorrow night against the Los Angeles Clippers in the Grindhouse. What is your bet for today?
Me? I don't have one.
Oh, when I asked you, you have a bet, you really were joking?
You didn't ask me if I had a bet.
I said, do you have a bet?
When did you say that?
When I was standing
That
in
is
the
not
ring.
true. You asked me if I had a bet on who was going to replace Nick Saban.
No, I told you what
That's
my
not
bet
true.
was.
No.
That is this guy. Well, I was thinking to myself, FAU, they're playing Tulane. It is in New Orleans. They're an 8.5-point favorite. Do you think the kids from Florida Atlantic get out on a little bit of Bourbon Street, get a little bit saucy? No, I don't think so, because they lost to Charlotte the last time they played. Did you know that?
That's right. I watched it, yeah.
Yeah, they lost to Charlotte. So they're going to come out, and I feel like Tulane is going to they're going to have to get toasted down in the quarter after the ball game because they're going to get a butt whipping. FAU wins tonight by 16 points. Lay the 8.5. Lock it up. And also take Steve Sarkisian. Again, Bill Belichick basically fired. Nick Saban retired. And poor Pete Carroll got one up. Not once, but twice in 24 hours.
John, do you know we have an NBA game starting in 5 minutes?
What the hell are you talking about?
The Cavs and the Nets play in 5 minutes. 1 o'clock. The Paris game.
I can bet in 5 minutes?
You can, John.
I didn't even, they were know in Paris. Je m'appelle Jean, comment allez-vous?
Wow, impressive, John.
Man, I've been over to, you know what I'm saying? I did a little backpacking.
Oui.
Yeah, that's what I said when I was there. We'll be back tomorrow on a beautiful Friday for Bryant Dacus. I'm John Harden. I hope y'all get out there. Make this world a better place. We'll see you on the flip side. Peace.
Bartlett Small